Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. And I have my thing over that. My apologies. And other technical difficulties. The whatever the internet is at my house is really screwed up right now. And it's freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer. My name is Donald Patak. Contact information, standard YouTube copyright, and no, my content may not be used to train AI LLMs. Keys to the reading, because I do read astrology differently. I read what's called constellation-based astrology, sometimes known as true sidereal. It's astrology by the visible sky. I am reading the sky as an astronomer would view the sky. In ancient times, astrologers were also astronomers. So I'm reading the sky the way an ancient astrologer would be seeing the sky. And as opposed to like tropical astrologers who froze the sky when Aries was at 0 degrees on the horizon, I follow what's called precession of the equinox, which says not only do the planets move, but the constellations also move, but very slowly. It's how we arrive at the astrological ages. And using the visible sky in the zodiac belt, there are 13 signs instead of 12. Between Scorpio and Sagittarius is the sign of Ophiuchus. It's the symbol of a person holding a snake by the head and the tail. What does a snake mean in ancient times? Knowledge. So when you're holding a snake by head and tail, you're controlling or using knowledge. And the mythos were that the gods taught Ophiuchus and Asclepius. Those are the two mythos that I know right now. I'm sure there's more, but through this, taught them how to heal. They healed themselves, and ideally they use that knowledge to heal others. So it's the symbol of the wounded healer. And in the visible sky, all the constellations are different sizes. Virgo is huge at just under 50 degrees. All the constellations vary in sizes, and I use that. And I also use astrological midpoints as opposed to the IAU boundaries. The IAU boundaries are arbitrarily drawn, and in some cases, you can actually find stars from one constellation over the border and in another one. Athens Shimenti noted that in his work on when he was looking at the border between Scorpio and Ophiuchus, and he found stars from Scorpio over the border in Ophiuchus. So he looked at the zodiac belt, last bright star Scorpio, first bright star of Ophiuchus, what's the halfway point? And it works fairly well across the sky. Keys to the reading part 2. I interpret using evolutionary astrology, which says that the transits and your chart are offering you lessons to learn, and you have freedom of choice. Yes, you are fated to face these transits, but how you choose to work with them, up to you. This is the weekly edition, so do have some compassion on your fellow ground pounders, as these are universal lessons, and people are going to respond to same situations differently. Date and time are based on the Eastern U.S. time zone, as I am outside of Buffalo, New York. I am operating within 1 degree of exact, because anything more than that, I'd get overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, you're lost, especially on the very busy weeks. The software that I'm using is Capricorn by Prometheus, which is going to be re-released by the ISAA soon, is my understanding. And lastly, I don't have it as a bullet, but I am going to put this in. I do all my own interpretations. I use no AI whatsoever. There are astrologers who are turning to AI to do their forecasts and everything for them. No, I believe in the human spirit and human intuition is greater than anything AI is ever going to come up with. So these are weekly transits for the week of June 22nd through 28th, 2026. The sun is currently in Gemini. So focus on learning about yourself and how you communicate. The moon begins the week in Virgo and will end in Sagittarius. So for a good part of the week, moon is going to be steady, and then it'll pick up over the weekend. We do not have a quote-unquote lunar transit, one of the big four. That's either the first quarter, full moon, last quarter, or new moon. We have one of the lesser transits. So there's no major lunar transit this week, is what I should say. Our active planets, English is badly this week, my apologies, are the sun, your core identity, Venus, relationships and creativity, and Uranus, individuality. Sign change, Venus is entering Leo, and I did make a mistake. Cats messed up my notes, and I did lose one of my pages. Last week, we did have Jupiter entering Cancer on Thursday, so I will address that first in this reading. And my cats helped me break my glasses, too. And for long transits, we have a number of them. We are dealing with Uranus and the moon's nodes. So Uranus is being squared by the new moon's nodes. In addition to that, Uranus is sextiling Neptune. Neptune is also sextiling Pluto, and I'm hoping I have everything there correctly. Excuse me. And finally, moving retrograde, we have Mercury moving retrograde, station retrograde this week, and it will join Pluto as well. So we have two planets in the retrograde parade. So here we go. Yeah, that's about a good place for it. So let me get my doodle tool. And let me pull this up here. Better place for it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to start as I always do with the moon right here. There's our lunar transit. And we start the week last Sunday, the moon entered Virgo. And it goes until Thursday morning. That was a scary noise on my phone. Sorry about that. And it goes until Thursday morning when it enters Libra. And this is so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early Thursday. The moon's going to be fairly steady in Virgo. Thursday and into Friday afternoon, it will be in Libra. Friday afternoon into Saturday after PM-ish. Friday PM into Saturday PM. It'll be in Scorpio. And Saturday PM until Sunday PM, it will be in Ophiuchus. Nice time to heal over the weekend, rest, take a break. You know, the healing power of the weekend. And then Sunday PM, it will enter Sagittarius. So it's really steady for a good portion of the week. Even Libra, that's a good size transit for the moon. And anything above this line here are holdovers from last week. So we do have the Sun Chiron transit from last week. But here we have the Uranus being T-squared by the nodes and the Pluto, the Neptune being sextiled by Pluto. The outer planets are going to be having a heyday and be very influential and very powerful for the rest of this year. So if things feel a little bit more difficult, I mean, using that in quotes, that's the reason why. And I will cover those. But as you can see here with the new week, we do have the nodes of the moon are also being aspected as well. So that's going to be there. They should have been in my list. But here you can see the sun are very influential this week. So that's your core identity. Working with the nodes of the moon, your destiny, and Neptune, your spirituality. Here we have Neptune, or not Neptune, I'm sorry, Uranus, and then adding in more outer transits. So again, the outer planets putting their foot down saying, let's show them how it's done. We do have Venus. I don't know why I put, yeah. Oh, I know I put Venus in there. Yeah, we do have Venus in a trine to Saturn and Venus entering Leo on Thursday. And then, Jupiter is in a square to, I think I forgot to put that in my long list. Jupiter will be squaring Chiron, and that's going to go for into early July. That should have been on our big list, my bad. And we do have Mercury moving station retrograde. Always a good time to reflect on your learning and communication. So, and as you can see, the transits really start on Monday and they just build throughout the week. So it's a fairly steady build. And they pick up, they go, they release. So it's a steady, we don't get really hard hit really until these two, even though we do have the start here, the other ones are letting go. So let's clear out. Close this out. Come on, you can do it. Love how my escape key doesn't work sometimes. So let's end the show. And here we go. So, and I did say we were going to start with what I missed last week because my cats like to drive me crazy. And that is Jupiter entering Cancer. This happened last Thursday. Jupiter is about opportunity. taking opportunity to fulfill your higher potentials and recognizing that. And in Cancer, it's learning to nurture and care for yourself. Cancer is very much about being nurturing, being caring. It can be about healing and rest. So do take those opportunities to find, celebrate life, and what brings you joy and peace as well. Cancer is a calm down sign. After the energy of Gemini, which being up and wired, and before you hit Leo, which is really can be wild, you want to calm down and take some rest, take a breath. Cancer is that rest. So find what brings you joy and peace, and also the healing powers of joy and happiness and rest. Sometimes you need to sit back and laugh, and the power of laughter, Norman Cousins. So there's the upside. The downside is a crisis of confidence. And this can be over or under confident. That can leave you feeling defensive and have you wanting to hide away or putting up a brave facade. We always have that person, how are you doing? And they put on that brave face when they really just want to cry. So there's that. Clear electronics. So that was what I missed there. And then let's cover our long transits here. Do you want to cover them? We do have the South Node in Leo, North Node in Aquarius. They're usually in opposition to each other. Very rarely they're a little bit off. And the nodes of the moon are teaching you about destiny and your purpose in life. South Node in Leo is how you hold yourself back with pointless drama and meaningless drama. The North Node is how you heal and release that, learning to be your authentic self and to make and to help fulfill your North Node's destiny by making it authentic and true to you. So I always say with the nodes, understand what they are in your natal chart, and then with the South Node, how are you playing up the drama? With the North Node, how do you make that North Node in the birth chart true to you? What's your own spirituality? And a square is a challenge whose purpose is to strengthen you. And they're squaring what? Neptune. You're becoming an authentic individual. You're learning to be who you truly are at heart. It is a key part of your identity. And finding out how to find the joy and how to find the peace and strength. And this isn't a loud peace, this is a quiet peace. Taurus, think of the bull sitting on it. Think of Ferdinand the bull, sitting in the field, smelling the roses, chewing the cud. This is that calm, quiet, strong person that just knows who they are, they're confident in who they are, and you can throw them in the middle of the bull ring and have everybody raising a ruckus, and they're just going to sit there, smell the roses, and chew the cud. You really want to understand Taurus, Ferdinand the Bull. It's a children's story, but it's awesome. The shadow here is reliving the drama of the past and rehashing it. And the opposing that is, instead of you making your destiny true to you, you're either selling it out to others or just completely denying it. And the square becomes a crushing burden. And what is it crushing? Your individuality or authenticity. You're selling yourself out to the expectations of others, or you're acting up and acting out and just making a mess of things. So let me clear that. That's one long transit. Second long transit is Neptune in Pisces and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. That's a sextile. Sextile is a sense of excitement or interest. Neptune in Pisces. Don't just do something, be there, be present, sit there. This is learning to be aware and in the moment. And how is that creating an interest or sparking curiosity in you doing the healing work of doing the work of healing and transformation? Pluto is about transformation and deep healing. And the readings I'm doing on that's what it implies. And in Capricorn, it's doing that work, but it's retrograde. So you're reflecting on the work that you have done. How can you make it better? It's also a time of internal work. You think of an egg. Before the chick hatches, it goes from the embryo into the chick, then it breaks the shell and it comes out. So this is also doing the internal work before, when it goes direct, then it steps out to do it in the world. The shadow is Neptune in Pisces gets lost in fantasy and idleness. And the sextile creates a sense of nervousness, potentially feeling lost. And Pluto in Capricorn gets focused on cynicism, pessimism, and falls into darkness, isolation, and loneliness. So this illusion, this living in an illusion, actually can be deeply wounding and have you feeling isolated. And last but not least, we do have the moon in Virgo, I think. Yes, I'll cover the moon in Virgo first. Moon in Virgo is focusing on self-improvement. How can you become the better version of yourself? And how can you become more responsible for yourself? In the shadow, it's holding itself up to unrealistic expectations. And this leads to burnout. And there goes my lights. I love the light sensor. And last but not least, one holdover from last week, we have the sun in Gemini. And yes, Chiron is in the last degrees of Pisces. And there's a lot of discussion in, and there's a lot of discussion in astrology land. Does it actually get into Aries before it goes retrograde? So it's a wild discussion there. Again, Neptune, not Neptune, I'm sorry, the sun in Gemini, you learning about yourself and how you communicate and focusing on that and focus on learning who you are at heart. Very important. And Pisces, Chiron in Pisces, I love dyslexia. Chiron in Pisces is learning to heal, release spiritual wounds. So as you're learning about yourself, how is that helping you to create interest in releasing and healing and releasing these deep wounds, these spiritual wounds? And realizing your destiny can also spark an interest in helping others do the same. So as you learn about yourself, you heal and release, you can actually serve as inspiration for others. And they'll when they come to you say, hey, teach me how you did that. So when you're healing people, you'll know who to turn to. The shadow here is falling into the false ego and becoming distracted, chatterbox, all talk, no walk. And that creates a sense of nervousness that leads to deeper wounding or refusal to heal and trying to escape and numb the pain and escape any which way you can. Let's clear that out. Clear, close. And on Monday, actually, I'm going to bump Monday into, going to jump a little bit into Tuesday here so I can hit both of them. We have the sun working with the nodes of the moon. Nodes of the moon is your destiny. So destiny and purpose in life. So the south node is what you're trying to leave behind and heal from. Your north node is what helps you to do that. And we have a sextile here. We have a trine here. So I will cover the south node and then the north node. So we did talk about the sun in Gemini, learning about yourself and how you communicate. The south node in Leo, how are you holding yourself with pointless drama? So as you're learning about yourself, you're becoming, it's creating interest. It's like, wait a minute, how am I holding myself back with this drama? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm reliving that. So there's that south node. And then it creates an interest. Well, if I'm holding myself back with that drama and it's not who I am, then who am I really and how do I fulfill that? That's the north node in Aquarius. And these are easy energies to work with. This is a sense of ease, or in a sense of simplicity, not simplicity. This is a sense of excitement and interest. And trines are ease and simplicity. So you're becoming aware, and it's like, oh man, I can get over this relatively well. And this is helping you to fulfill your destiny and become more of who you are. So as you learn who you are, how you hold yourself back, and how I can get over that by becoming more of myself. And this is with your learning, your communication. What messages are you speaking to other people? But what are you saying to yourself as well? Self-talk, very important. The shadow here is getting distracted, the false ego, focusing on the wrong things, either burning too bright, not wanting to shine at all, and reliving and rehashing the past. And this drags you away. And instead of you fulfilling your destiny and purpose, you're giving that away to other people to define, or you're denying it altogether. And this becomes a big mess fast. Clear that. Whoops, jeez. You can tell it's Monday. And there we go. Actually, I'm just going to do, I'll get up all the Wednesday transits. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Monday into Tuesday with Sun and the nodes of the moon. Wednesday is kind of the busy day of the week, as you can see. Uranus sextiling Neptune, Venus trining Saturn, and Venus will move into Leo during this transit, and then the Sun squaring Neptune. So let's put this over here, pull my face over here. So let us start with Uranus in Taurus. As sextile, this is going to go for quite some time. This is going to go from June into early August. So again, Uranus and Taurus, you finding the peace and strength from becoming from being your individual and authentic self. And that creates an interest in your being spiritually aware and spiritually present and in the moment. You're not focused about the past, you're not worrying about the future. Who am I here now? And being at peace with that and being okay. The shadow here is falling into the false self. You're giving your power away either by acting out and being rebellious just to get a reaction from people. You're selling yourself out to get a reaction, or you're selling yourself out to fit in. And when that creates the sense of nervousness, and what are you trying to do? Living in a fantasy, trying to numb the pain or trying to escape, kind of is very unfulfilling. So that's one. Secondly, we have Venus trining Saturn. So Venus is going to start this in Cancer and then finish it in Leo-ish. And this is trining Saturn. So let me do this. And my hand is getting better. Actually, I'm getting much better at bending the finger. I still don't have mobility in the first digit, but it's still, if I use it too much, it does numb out, and it's actually, sometimes instead of numbing out, it starts acting up and actually feel pain in the finger, which according to everybody, that's a good sign. It means the nerves are healing. So Venus in Cancer is nurturing your relationships and taking care of them. And also the healing power of art and music, or the healing power of rest. We never talk about Venus, transiting Venus being about rest. We always talk about the relationship aspect, and we miss the arts and we miss the rest. Venus can be about having fun. And so with Cancer, it's about nurturing and taking care of that. And as Venus moves into Leo, it's going to be about you expressing and going out into the world and expressing who you are in your relationships, finding new friends, etc. And that is in a trine to Saturn. And Saturn in Pisces, two-word summary here: spiritual maturity, growing into your own spirituality. Hold on a second. So as you're focusing on your relationships, focusing on taking care of your relationships, and then standing up and stepping out to be seen more, how is this helping you grow and mature spiritually? And also, I have in my notes similar experiences you had for nurturing the arts or taking a rest. How are the arts and sharing your artistic or music abilities, or taking a rest? How are those things, and sharing that, hey man, this is how I like to chill out and have fun, and doing those things with people? How is that helping you to grow and mature spiritually? The shadow here is being slick, manipulative, and defensive. That's the Cancer. And as it moves into Leo, being the drama king or drama queen in your relationships. And whether that's that control freak that's trying to manipulate or control people overtly, we all know the bully, or that covert, as I call it, that we all know that person likes to sit around being helpless. I can't do that. Can you do it for me? That type of manipulation as well. I'm weak. I'm helpless. I deal a lot with that with students, honestly. This is too hard. I don't know how to do it. I'm talking through it. It's like, easier than you thought, wasn't it? So as you're slipping into that shadow of being slick and manipulative and defensive and falling into the drama, how does that, you slip into the power struggles of Pisces and falling into the fantasies of power struggles and thinking that you can own and control people, or you're falling into the fantasy of something else. Hold on. Yeah, and the result of that is this can drive people away and leave you feeling lonely and isolated. You think you're on top of the world and really you're not. You're at the bottom of the ladder. And last but not least, clear that out. We have this sun in Gemini. Sun's going to be in Gemini for quite some while. And as you're learning about yourself, oops, gosh, dang. No. Still learning to use I'm still using the middle finger. Don't quite have the catch and release on the index finger for using a mouse. Sun is squaring Neptune. So as you're learning about yourself and sharing that, how is that strengthening your spirituality? How is that strengthening your ability to be present and aware and in this moment? You're learning this about yourself, and this is who I am at this time. And how is that strengthening your spiritual awareness, your spiritual presence? This shadow is that, again, that ego that's out of control. It's either burning too bright or not wanting to shine at all. And it's distracted. It's chattering, it's doing anything it can to be where it is, to learn. Talking too much, not sharing enough at all. And instead of a square being strengthening, it becomes a crushing burden. And it crushes your ability to be present. And what are you trying to do? Deny everything, escape, hide away, living in a fantasy. Living out the false ego leaves you blind to all but yourself and summoning to a life of illusion, or trying to numb the pain of emptiness. And we go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I want to get right there. There we go. Okay, I'm a little too far. Let's get a little bit closer back. There we go. Better. And when I did my forecast, this was Libra was in the PM when it transitioned from Virgo into Libra. We'll figure it out. But here, Moon, your emotional self in Libra, open yourself up to paradox. Let life not make sense for a moment. Take a pause, take a breath, let things just be. And this can help you develop perspective. I mean, we always say we always have that joke. You got a coin, heads or tails, and I'll have that student that says sides. We always think of that coin having just two sides, heads and tails. What if it does land on its side? I've seen it happen. It was a freak. So be open to different perspectives. Take a pause, take a break. Let life be a little ambiguous. The shadow here is falling into indecision, letting ambiguity overwhelm you. And this indecision can fuel insecurity and bad choices. The other thing that happens on Thursday, Leo, is Venus enters into Leo. So Venus, your relationships, your creativity, your ability to have fun. In Leo, being public. So with your relationship, you're getting to be able to learn how to stand up, step out, put yourself out into the world, share yourself with the world, let the world see who you are, your real self too, and build relationships that way. And with your art, and this can be the creative art, it can be music, and yes, music is creative. So whether it's the physical arts, musical arts, any type of art, again, getting that out into the world, sharing that with people. Or rest and having fun. What do you do to have fun? Celebrate life. How do you do that? Share that with other people. The shadow is being slick, manipulative, drama king and drama queen. Trying to own and control people and get them to do what you want. And whether that's the over-the-top bully or that helpless victim. We've seen them both in school today. But that's a fact of life. You can find these anywhere, these archetypes anywhere in the world. Being that slick and manipulative person. can become publicly humiliating, and instead of bringing people to you, can drive them away. So instead of building, you can feel more alone. Trines close. Friday, both these. Yeah, we got two nice little transits here. Oh, wow, that one is missing. I am going to have to put that in. I must have not, that must not have copied over to my notes. Mars is in Taurus, is sextiling. Mars in Taurus is sextiling Jupiter in, excuse me, Cancer. So is Mars having courage and asserting your right to be at peace, to be calm, to be quiet. That strong, silent type. Your ability to even rest, the ability, you're standing up for your right to be Ferdinandable. That strong, calm, strong, silent type, creating an interest in the opportunity to heal, rest, restore yourself. The shadow, Mars, falling into fear. And that can be cowardice, you can fall into laziness, or it can be that bull in a china shop, that angry bull. You know what happens. I used to work on a farm, and yeah, you got a bull that's just sitting there in the pasture and he's doing nothing. Well, leave him alone. When he gets up and he starts trotting around, you get out of that, depending where he's trotting and how he's trotting, you get out of that pasture fast. Love the timer on this slide. I got to adjust it. Get out of that pasture fast because that bull can be injurious. And we're talking good 2,000 plus pounds. And that fear fuels a crisis in confidence, and it can have you being defensive, sniping at people, or trying to hide away. And the crisis of confidence can be overconfident, that's where you're, or underconfident. So you're overconfident, and I don't need this, I don't have to put up with people and leave them, or underconfident, trying to hide away, or taking snipes at people. Because we know the Cancer's got those claws and can and will use them. And our other transit is Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter. I should have left that up. In a square to Chiron. A lot of potential for healing here, even though it's not 1 degree of exact. So again, Jupiter, the opportunity to heal, rest, restore yourself, that's strengthening the opportunity. Oops, sorry about that. Thinking about that Chiron in Aries there, not quite. Chiron in Pisces, healing and releasing wounds or deep spiritual healing. So as you're taking that opportunity to rest, how is that strengthening your ability to heal more deeply, heal deep spiritual wounds? The shadow here, a crisis of confidence over and under, leading you to be defensive and isolating yourself. And that instead, the square is a crushing burden or a stumbling block, and it has you stumbling into wounding yourself or refusing to heal or even wounding other people. Close this out. And that was Thursday. We're in Friday. Friday, we also have, there it is right down there. Moon in Scorpio, emotional depth, and be prepared on Friday to face unsettling personal truths. Open up to yourself honestly, and especially about yourself, and expect intense feelings. And this can be healthy. When you can face your own deep truths about yourself, that can be, it can be wounding, but it can be healing. And like when they had dealt with my finger. In order for my finger to heal, they actually had to do surgery on it. They didn't do that surgery. There was no way healing was going to happen. So this can be like a little emotional surgery here. But the shadow is falling into that rotten, defensive, snotty mood. And it can complicate situations, and make life unnecessarily difficult. Close that out. Saturday, this is in the afternoon, this is later in the day. Here we go. Saturday, we move with the moon into Ophiuchus. So this is healing the emotional self. And this is learning how to heal and opening up to teachers who can help you to heal. Remember, the symbol of Ophiuchus, it's that U with that squiggle, that's the two hands holding the snake. So you're gaining knowledge. This time on Saturday and into Sunday is a time for you to gain knowledge on how to heal yourself so you can heal others with similar wounds. Focus first on healing yourself. Open up the opportunity to heal yourself emotionally. Pay attention to those who can help you, and you may be able to help others. But the shadow is refusing to heal or using that knowledge to wound other people. I'm reminded of the story of Jack the Ripper and what we know about him. And they think because of what he did and the way he did it, they think he had physician's training, that he may have been a doctor. So as a doctor, you can heal people or you can really royally hurt people. So there's that on Saturday. Close this out. And let's go into Sunday. I'm going to pull this up. And we'll end Sunday with two transits. First of all, here he is. Didn't even get to the end of Gemini. Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde, station retrograde. So it's taking a pause, taking a breath. On number one, learning. Number two, communication. So take a time to reflect on what you're learning and how you're learning. Also look at what you're communicating to others and how you're communicating it. So this is a reflection on that. Reflection is a powerful part of the learning process. So this is asking you to do that. The shadow here is being that know-it-all, getting lost in your own mind, either whether you think you know it all or you can't learn it all, and endlessly babbling about nothing of any importance. And this can be out in public or even in your own head. Mindless chatter becomes its own distraction. Part one. And it's way late at night that this happens, and that's that the moon enters Sagittarius. Thank you, cats, for breaking my glasses. Never clean your glasses when a cat decides to jump your leg. Do it where they can't get at you. Snap the bridge real bad again. So in Sagittarius, Gemini is the library and reading about things. Sagittarius is get up, go out and explore the world. So the moon in Sagittarius wants to get up, go out and explore the world, find something new, open up to new experiences, new opportunities. Expect the unexpected. That's what this time is about. And on Monday, we will have the full moon in Sagittarius, if I remember correctly. The shadow of Gemini is that self-righteous defense of the past and keeping yourself stuck in it. And that fuels boredom. Keep doing the same thing over and over again. You're going to get bored with it. And that's emotional boredom. And that is where we end the week. And I'm going to minimize that. Go back here. Slideshow, current slide. So that's our week in a nutshell. It does start out and it does cascade nicely. We don't have a lot of overwhelm. We do have those outer planets building up. We're going to have a lot of them for the rest of the year. Step by step, we can handle it. Do follow me on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. These three are making billions of dollars off your data and not giving you much of anything, if anything, for it. Digital Soul Space is a alternative to the big social media. It's hosted on the Mighty Network, so you control how your data is used. I do astrology on there, but there's tarot, mediumship, crystals, all sorts of herbal healing, many different spiritual traditions. It's an amazing place to hang out, ask questions, and find answers.
Everybody shares what they know. They're four great moderators, so it's a bully-free zone. If they've got a question, I've seen, they've actually, when they do it, they do mention, hey, we removed somebody because, and they know, and they're public about it. But it's a bully. I call it the safe space of the internet. It's a bully-free zone. It's your spiritual safe space. There's a free version. There's a paid version. These are all paid for by your data. This, whatever you're paying for, Digital Soul Space, 100% of it goes to pay for the hosting and the software. All the development is done by Michael Robert, and he does that and is a labor of love. He does an amazing job of keeping the site up and hosted. It's a wonderful place to be. I do astrology readings. I do have packages. If you want to see how your chart changes from tropical to true sidereal, I do the quick six key points. If you want to know what your birth chart means in evolutionary astrology, which is your end all goal in life, it's not who you are, it's who you became, who you're here to become. It's the end all goal in life. Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. So it's not you are a fill in your sun sign. You came here to learn how to become a healthy version of that sun sign. I also do karmic or past life readings. Some people are one and done. Other people believe in past lives. This helps you learn the lesson of the South Node and the North Node. It focuses on that and is a very deep read on them. South Node, how you're holding yourself back or what the past life was. And the North Node, more importantly, how do you heal it and release it? I also do horoscopes, a full 12 months in a row, 3 months in a row, or 1 month. And that can be new moon to new moon or 30 days in a row or first of the month to last of the month. And I do have some packages. So thank you very much. Do like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. And when I get my internet fixed, hopefully I get these back up on Sundays. So thank you. Like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching this. Have yourself the best week possible.